Elephants always impress me greatly. Perhaps part of it comes from my childhood memories of Dumbo, the flying elephant that was bullied for his oversized ears, but who later, with help from his best friend Timothy, became the star of the circus. These great beasts often seem to possess a high cute factor, yet of course they're still wild animals by nature. In the southern foothills of the Himalayas, at the border of India, lie the Terai Plains. Here, in this jungle, lies Chitwan, Nepal's oldest national park. When in luck, one can happen upon wild elephants here. This is a male specimen, roaming the border territories between Nepal and India. It appears all male elephants have a certain gland on their head that can swell up and leak fluids into their own mouth during testosterone peaks. This I am told by my guide and good friend, Bim Lama, as I gratefully let him explain this case to me.
This thing up here,
That's the glands.
that's the glands.
Yes.
This glands will get bigger, swell up, and certain kind of liquid it drop to the mouth,
Yeah.
and then elephant get really wild.
This is his moment to find a mate and secure offspring. During a jeep safari, this bull crosses our path.
Yeah, there, in the.
This specific specimen has already killed 7 people, so
Look at that.
we're holding on tight.
Wow.
If he heads our way, we must leave immediately, for an elephant can run up to 40 kilometers per hour. Lucky for us, he doesn't deem us worthy of his attention. The Asian or Indian elephant is not indigenous to the Nepali jungle. They originate from, among other countries, Thailand, Myanmar, Bhutan and Sri Lanka, and are being bred in the Breedingcentre here in order to serve the local population. Silently they tread through the streets. The only thing disturbing their peace and quiet is the elephant's natural enemy, the human being. Contrary to the African elephant, these elephants allow themselves to be tamed. In earlier years, trained elephants were kept as a means of transport or for hunting big game. Nowadays, they're mainly kept for the tourism industry. In 2010, I visited Chitwan's elephant breeding center for the first time, together with Bim. He explained that the female elephant, also called cow, is fertile after 6 to 8 years, and the length of her gestation period varies between 22 and 23 months. She then bears her child, weighing an astounding 60 to 115 kilograms. Twin elephants, as seen here, are highly uncommon. She has a great sense of smell and even better hearing, yet her small eyes allow for relatively poor eyesight. Different from most other four-legged mammals, the elephant's nipples are located between the front legs. The calf is able to walk instantly and drinks from his mother, as well as, at times, from a nursing mother. In order for the elephants to ingest plenty of grains, the caretakers create special packages. For the calves, they assemble special, smaller variants. Picky as he is, he searches for his favorite one and enjoys the meal. the product is not up to standards, he resorts to his backup plan. The elephant typically eats all day round. For them, 150 kilograms of vegetable food is all in a day's work. On top of that, it drinks another 80 to 160 liters of water daily. And half of all that food is excremented undigested, yielding up to 100 kilograms of manure per day. A grown bull can weigh up to 5,000 kilograms. Some 50 years ago, a new type of safari was introduced, riding on the back of an elephant. Nowadays, these rides are rather controversial. To get an elephant so far as to allow these rides, they are captured and taken out of the wilderness, only to, in often miserable and humiliating circumstances, have their will broken. Nepal only works with their own bred animals. The round back of an adult elephant cannot bear more than 300 kilograms. Luckily, travel agencies generally do not advertise this type of entertainment anymore. The strong legs of the mahout, the elephant herd, steer the elephant in the desired direction. This one enjoys a little leaf here and there along the way. Rocking in a squeaking seat, I witness how he guides the beast through all the trees and branches, trying to get us closer to the other inhabitants of the jungle. They do not feel threatened as they recognize the elephant. And what about us? We are up so high that our scent cannot be picked up by the others. Even the Indian rhino, guarding her young, is comfortable with our presence like this. Back then, I thought of it as a remarkable experience, but with the knowledge I have now, I would never enter such a heavy seat again. At the end of December, Chitwan hosts a great traditional elephants festival. Here they play elephant polo, run races and parade during the ever-colorful beauty contest. The great interest shown by the population is proof of how beloved this festival is. The local television even broadcasts the event. Here the Mahouts can proudly present how well they can control their tamed animals. I myself find it conflicting to witness these elephants perform their tricks this way. Animal rights organizations consider this abuse. Elephant keepers defend their ways of training and proclaim they take good care of these animals without inflicting pain. Just as there are good horse and dog trainers, I have no doubt there are honest elephant trainers that treat their animals with love and care. But how could one possibly easily make that distinguishment? Personally, I pay attention to whether I see the mahout able to control their elephant using a simple small stick, or whether they resort to what I've also witnessed, the fearsome elephant hook. Alright, that's it for today. This one can now be washed again and take her place in the stable, locally known as Hattisar. Along the river that flows through Soraha, the tourists can marvel at the elephants bathing, or wash one themselves. Some elephants can comprehend up to 26 different commands, all in the original Taro language, or in Hindi. However, even the bathing and feeding of the elephant are under scrutiny nowadays. Bathing together is, after all, not without danger. One could accidentally be crushed or trampled. And what about the feeding? There are no signs saying do not feed, like in our zoos. However, this does not mean you should feed them anything. Heed the caretaker's advice, as they know what's best for the elephants. In a strong trunk are an amazing 150,000 different muscles. He uses them for eating, drinking, fighting, making noise, and for all things we generally do with our noses too. The trunk ends in a highly sensitive finger for the more precise jobs. It could be my optimism, but this elephant seems to be having fun. Bathing in the cool waters sure is a delight, even though most of the animal's excess body warmth is dissipated through the trunk. A rhino young can't suppress his curiosity and gets very close to these people who are carving a canoe. Upstream, I spot an adult rhino. The rhino, together with the elephant, is the largest creature in Chitwan and can weigh up to 2,200 kilograms. As a consequence of hunting, poaching and deforestation, they had almost gone extinct. In Chitwan, no more than 100 specimens remained. Due to protection of the habitat, the vulnerable animals are now doing better. She peacefully feeds upon the grasses of the lush wetlands among other wild animals. When she has a cough, however, she can be unpredictable and extremely dangerous. In southern Nepal, a family excursion on the back of your own elephant is considered just as normal as driving a car. The rhinoceros barely reacts. Even when a second family passes her, she doesn't pay them any attention. Why would she? This is her territory after all. I'm driven to the national park in a jeep. When I arrive, I see Taro women head into the jungle with machetes. The Taro are the indigenous people of Chitwan and still live an authentic life, similar to the way their ancestors used to live. With their machetes, they harvest food for their goats and buffaloes. I admire the untouched nature and the magnificent beasts I see along the way. I even get a glance of the wild elephant that roams between Nepal and India. We travel the last stretch by foot, so as not to disturb the peaceful surroundings. The atmosphere in the Breedingcentre feels quite different now than it did 8 years ago. What stands out to me the most is that the animals get much more attention and movement than they used to. The place has a casual, unconstrained atmosphere. Generally, the elephant is a social, loyal and pacifist animal that most often lives in herds. The males, that don't always have tusks, only leave the herd when they have reached adulthood. A male without tusks is called a makuna. When the elephant returns from the jungle, its caretakers chain the animal. After all, they can't be set free in the breeding centre, but it doesn't seem to bother them. And then, a delightful dust shower to cool and protect the skin. An elephant barely sleeps. For only 2 hours a day, they close their eyes while still standing up, ready to flee whenever they deem it necessary. And so, there's always something to do, which is why the caretakers are ready to take action 24 hours a day. Elephants have a set of very large teeth. These new teeth go from the back of their mouths to the front, to replace the old ones when they wear out. When all of their teeth wear out, the animal will starve. In January and February each year, the inhabitants, the Taro, come to the park with their sickle-shaped machetes to, for the sake of symbolism, cut the meters-high elephant grass. Taros, who have been living in this region where malaria is common, for centuries were the only ones who could survive here, as they are immune by nature. Only in the 1950s, the World Health Organization started helping the Nepalese government exterminate the malaria mosquitoes that carry the malaria virus, using the chemical DDT. The elephants bring the grass to the nearby villages, where the people use it to feed cattle, build, and thatch the roof of clay houses. After the pruning, the fields are burnt to the ground to stimulate new growth. The sal trees in the jungle generally do not catch fire easily. Mechanization catches on in Nepal too. This will save the elephants a lot of hard work. In the near future, the tourist industry will have to carefully consider the changing views of the public on animal health and well-being. One thing is certain. In my eyes, the cattle farmers will keep going into the jungle to harvest food for their animals for a long time.